My name is Ethan Walker. I didn't grow up rich, but I didn't grow up hungry either. We were what Americans call a middle-class family. A small house in a quiet town, bills paid on time, no luxury, no desperation. My father worked long hours at a manufacturing company. My mother managed the home and worked part-time when needed. They taught me simple rules. Work hard, stay honest, don't chase shortcuts. For a long time, I followed those rules, until money entered my life faster than wisdom ever could. A young man who learned too fast. I was young when things started working out for me. Too young. While my friends were still figuring out what they wanted to do, I was already making serious money. Not lottery money. Not viral money, business money. I had a gift for spotting opportunities, online ventures, reselling, early investments. I worked relentlessly, long nights, early mornings, no weekends. And then something dangerous happened. Money stopped being slow. Every day, large amounts started coming in, numbers I had never seen before. Balances that felt unreal. At first, I was careful. I saved. I reinvested. I stayed quiet. But money attracts noise. People I hadn't spoken to in years started calling. Old classmates, distant relatives, friends I didn't remember being close to. At first, it felt good. I wasn't chasing them. They were chasing me. When you become the center of the party. It started with dinners, then weekends, then parties. Every night felt like a celebration. And slowly, without noticing, I became the center of it all. The parties didn't start unless I arrived. The music waited, the drinks waited. My phone rang constantly. Dozens of calls, hundreds of messages. Where are you? We're waiting. It's not a party without you. I paid for everything. The venue, the alcohol, the food. At first, I didn't mind. I had money, and they had laughter. But what I didn't see was the shift. I thought I controlled the money. In reality, the money had started controlling me. When pleasure becomes a habit. Drinking became normal. Every night, every event. What started as celebration turned into routine. Expenses grew. Responsibility shrank. Years passed. My businesses were still running, but I wasn't leading them anymore. I had managers, assistants, systems. I told myself I deserved rest. I told myself I had earned it. That lie sounded convincing, surrounded by noise. Then, gambling entered my life. Quietly. The game that didn't hurt at first. It started harmless. A few bets, private games, nothing official. I had so much money that losses didn't matter. Win today, lose tomorrow. The numbers barely moved. But someone noticed. A group of men. They watched how I played, how I reacted, how confident I was. They didn't rush. They became friendly. Invited me to a place. Not a casino, not a public hall. A private gambling house. Hidden. Quiet. Exclusive. I went once. Then twice. Then almost every day. One day I won. 2 days I lost. 3 days I chased the loss. Meanwhile, they were winning, consistently, because the game was never fair. The beginning of neglect. As gambling took more space, my businesses took less. Calls went unanswered, meetings postponed, decisions delayed. Money still came in, but less. My family didn't know. They only noticed one thing. I came home late. Very late. Sometimes not at all. My mother worried. My father stayed silent. They trusted me. That trust would soon be tested. The friend who wasn't there. I had one real friend, Marcus. We grew up together, struggled together, dreamed together. But Marcus had left years ago to study out of state. He wasn't around when the money came. He wasn't around when the parties started. He didn't see the change until he came back for a break. The first time he saw me again, his smile faded. "You don't look good," he said. I laughed it off, but he kept watching. The drinking, the late nights, the gambling stories I joked about. He didn't laugh. He warned me. Once, twice, many times. "Stay away from that," he said. "You're playing with fire." I didn't listen. I thought success made me untouchable. A family's silent fear. While Marcus tried to reach me, my parents grew more worried. They noticed the change too. They asked Marcus. "Please," my mother said, "talk to him. He listens to you." Marcus tried harder, but addiction doesn't listen. It only demands. At first, I told myself I was still in control. I wasn't. The gambling house became a routine, not a place I visited, a place I belonged to. The men there knew my name. They knew my drink. They knew my weakness. They never rushed me. They let me win just enough to feel confident, then lose just enough to feel challenged. And slowly, the numbers started to matter. I wasn't betting pocket money anymore. I was betting pride. Some nights I left smiling. Most nights I left angry. And anger is exactly what they wanted. They encouraged the drinking. One glass turned into five. Five turned into bottles. They kept refilling my glass before it was empty. Laughing, joking, calling me lucky. I didn't notice when luck left the room. I only noticed when judgment did. That night started like any other. Music low, lights dim, cards on the table. They poured drink after drink. I remember laughing too loud. I remember feeling invincible. Then the bets changed. Bigger, heavier. They suggested raising the stakes. I hesitated, just for a second. That second was all they needed. "Come on, Ethan," one of them said. "You've got businesses. You've got assets. What's one more round?" I agreed. Not because I needed the money, because I couldn't stand the idea of losing. The losses piled up fast, too fast. I chased them. I bet my car. I lost. I bet my house. I lost. I told myself I could win it back. I bet parts of my business. I lost again. By the time I realized what was happening, the room felt smaller. The laughter stopped. The faces around me changed. No more jokes, no more smiles. Just paperwork. Documents slid across the table. I signed. Not because I wanted to, because I couldn't think clearly. Alcohol blurred everything. When I finally left that place, the night air hit me like cold water. I stood outside, shaking. I had lost almost everything. Panic came next. Real panic. I called people, friends, contacts, old business partners. I didn't tell them the truth. I said it was a temporary cash issue, a business delay. They believed me because I had never failed before. Money came in. Loans, favors, trust. I told myself I would gamble one last time, just once, to fix everything. That last time destroyed what little I had left. I lost borrowed money, I lost bank loans, I lost credit. The debts multiplied. Calls started coming. Messages, warnings. I stopped answering. I stopped sleeping. I stopped being human. My parents found out when it was too late. They saw the notices, the letters, the fear. My mother cried. My father didn't shout. That hurt more. He took money he had saved quietly for years. Money meant for emergencies. Money meant for dignity. He paid part of my debts, not all, just enough to stop the bleeding. I had never felt smaller. The people who once called me nonstop disappeared. The parties stopped. The phone went silent. I called them. No answer. I messaged. Seen. Ignored. The friends I paid for, the nights I funded, gone. That's when Marcus returned again. He saw the truth immediately. No judgment, no anger, just disappointment mixed with concern. You don't need money right now. You need clarity. I didn't argue. I didn't have the strength. For the first time in years, I listened. In the quiet that followed, something strange happened. I started remembering who I was before all of this, before the noise, before the ego, before the addiction. I had lost everything material, but one thing remained: experience. I knew business, I knew systems, I knew how money moved, and that knowledge didn't disappear with the money. It waited. Rock bottom doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives quietly. One morning, you wake up and realize there is nothing left to lose. No money, no status, no crowd, just consequences. I spent weeks barely leaving my room. I avoided mirrors. I avoided calls. I avoided myself. But time doesn't stop just because you're ashamed. Bills still exist. Debts still wait. Life still moves. And one day, Marcus sat across from me and said something I'll never forget. "You lost money," he said. "You didn't lose your mind." That sentence didn't fix anything, but it planted something. I started small, not with dreams, not with big plans, with discipline. I stopped drinking. I stopped chasing quick wins. I started waking up early again. I reviewed old notes, old business ideas, old mistakes. I didn't romanticize the past. I studied it. Marcus had saved some money while studying and working abroad. Not much, but clean money, earned money. We talked for hours. No excuses, no fantasies, just facts. I told him everything. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he said, "If we do this, we do it slow and clean." I agreed. I had learned what shortcuts cost. We started with a small service business. Nothing flashy, nothing risky. We used my experience, his discipline, clear rules. No gambling, no debt, no late nights. The first months were brutal. Clients questioned us. Cash flow was tight. But this time, pressure didn't send me running. It grounded me. I showed up every day. No parties, no noise, just work. Slowly, things changed. Clients stayed, referrals came, trust grew. For the first time, money felt quiet again. As the business stabilized, something else happened. Old names started appearing on my phone. People who once vanished. "Hey brother, long time, we should meet." They had heard. Success has a sound. I didn't answer, not because I hated them, because I finally respected myself. My parents watched the change quietly. They didn't celebrate. They didn't interfere. They had seen both versions of me. They knew which one mattered. I paid off the remaining debts slowly, one by one. No miracles, just consistency. Every payment felt heavier than any win I had ever celebrated, because this time it meant responsibility. Years passed. The small business became a larger one, then another, then a structure. Marcus and I built something solid, not an empire built on ego, a foundation built on trust. We hired carefully, expanded carefully, spent carefully. I never returned to gambling, not once. I knew where that road led. One evening, I sat alone after work. No music, no crowd, just silence. But this silence felt different. It wasn't empty. It was peaceful. I thought about the people I lost, the money I wasted, the years I burned, and I understood something important. Money didn't ruin me. The absence of limits did. People often ask how I recovered. They expect the secret. There isn't one. I stopped lying to myself. I stopped paying for approval. I stopped confusing attention with friendship. Real friends don't need you to pay the bill. Real success doesn't shout. It waits. I still see some of those old faces sometimes. They look at me differently now. Not because I'm richer, because I'm calmer. They don't recognize the man who no longer needs them. And that's fine. Losing everything didn't teach me how to make money. I already knew that. It taught me something harder. How to walk away from bad habits, from false loyalty, from places that profit from your weakness. I learned that control isn't about power. It's about restraint. Today, I live simply. I work, I build, I protect what matters. I don't chase nights that end empty. I don't sit at tables designed to break you. And when my phone rings, it's people who respect boundaries, not people who wait for you to fall. This isn't a revenge story. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about understanding that success without discipline is just a delayed disaster. And recovery begins with honesty. I lost everything once, and I'm grateful because it forced me to rebuild the right way. Slow, clean, aware. And this time, nothing controls me anymore. Not money, not people, not temptation. Just choice.